Welcome to my review of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, directed by Marielle Heller, who last year brought us Can You Ever Forgive Me, and starring Tom Hanks as Fred Rogers. The film is based on the true story of the friendship between Fred Rogers and journalist Tom Junod, a jaded magazine writer who is assigned a profile on Fred Rogers, and through getting to know him, he overcomes his skepticism, learning about empathy, kindness, and the decency of America's most beloved neighbor. I just want to put it in perspective, I didn't grow up with Mr. Rogers. I didn't know who Mr. Rogers was until last year with the release of the documentary, and much less did I know about what he represented and the impact that he had on so many people's lives. But through that doc, I felt I got a glimpse into at least what other people saw in him, and a little bit into who he was. This film, thankfully, is not just a standard biopic, and I mean that in the best ways possible. It isn't standard whatsoever, because this is not a film about who Mr. Rogers is. This is not even a Mr. Rogers film, even though there are elements of that in the film, a lot of them. This is a film about the journalist and what he learns through Fred Rogers. This is very much more of a film about how Mr. Rogers impacted others and what even he learned from others while he himself was teaching them lessons even without realizing. This film was beautiful from the first moment till the very end. You're going to feel happy, you're going to feel warm, you're going to feel comfortable and safe. You can clearly tell that is what the film is going for, and in that regard is a win. Let's talk about Tom Hanks as Mr. Rogers. There's a smile on my face that seriously couldn't be bigger. It's a transformative role for sure, and Tom Hanks is already a very warm presence when he is on screen. He's a warm presence whenever he goes on a talk show, whenever he shows up anywhere on camera. Every time you hear the name Tom Hanks, you smile because he's just a good guy. But even in his performance, you can tell there is a lot of admiration from Hanks in regards to Mr. Rogers. It's a fantastic role that he plays, and he plays it off brilliantly with Matthew Rhys, who is also really, really good. Don't be surprised if both, if not at least one of them, is nominated for Oscars come award season. The relationship between them just evolves so naturally. You feel like you're watching these moments with these two people in real time. There is a personal struggle that Lloyd is going through in his life, and there isn't a moment, a single moment that Mr. Rogers is not interested in this person. There isn't a single moment where Mr. Rogers really wants to talk about himself, even though it's this guy's job to go to Mr. Rogers and make him talk about himself. There are a lot of talks about forgiveness in the film, and that is one of the main themes, along with empathy, kindness, and you see this man's skepticism start to crumble. There is a wall between him and Mr. Rogers, and it takes the entire film for it to crumble, but it feels natural. It feels earned that it happens with these two people. They are so different, yet they are human. They value the same things, even if one of them upholds them to no end, and the other one is more cynic towards the world, towards the way people work. But Mr. Rogers teaches him that what does he gain from that? What do you gain from being angry? It's not a matter of is the other person worth it, it is the matter of you are worth it. Don't spend your energy on that anger and forgive. The film almost feels like a soft-hearted fantasy that works on you in an enchanting way. It's personable, it's emotion, but it's also packed with humor. Really delightful humor. It's never anything that you're laughing at someone. It's always someone laughing at themselves, and you're simply asked to laugh along with them. And that just has that welcoming feel to it. In many ways, it feels like it's in many ways it feels like it's a look into this real life story through the lens of the Mr. Rogers show, but it really isn't. There is a type of grittiness in here when it comes to Lloyd's personal issues, his issues with his wife, his issues with being a parent, and his main issue that, again, I don't want to get into. Heller creates a world that is sensitive, it's magical, it's welcoming. You are warmly welcome into this story and into this friendship flourishing throughout the film. And she creates this sense that is very familiar to who Mr. Rogers was. I can tell there are a lot of people who are not going to enjoy this film. There are scenes of people talking, and that's mainly what this film is. It's people talking, but people learning with each other. And I really, really appreciated that. I'm giving A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood an A-. What did you think of A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood, my beautiful geekies? Let me know your thoughts on Mr. Rogers. Did you grow up with him? Did you not? What did you think of the documentary last year? And are you excited for this film? Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. Stay tuned for the last LFF review of The Irishman. I can't wait to bring you that. And check out the other ones I've done for the festival this year. And I've also uploaded my review for Gemini Man. Thank you so much once again. You guys are the best. Until the next video, don't forget to stay beautiful, stay geeky, subscribe and like, because it really helps me out. But most importantly, love each other and love the movies.